In this video I'm going to take a look at regaining possession of commercial premises. What are the practical steps that you need to take in order to get a commercial premises back? First thing you need to do is you need to terminate the tenancy. There are three very common ways for any letting or tenancy to terminate, and they would be through notice to quit. In other words, where somebody has their lease has expired and they are not entitled to be there any longer. You're not giving them a new lease, so you serve them with a notice to quit. Second way that a termination normally occurs in a tenancy is through forfeiture of the lease. In other words, the lease would be forfeited by the tenant on the basis of some breach of a covenant or condition in the lease. Now there is notices to be served. There's a section 14, I think it is, notice to be served on the tenant, indicating what the issue is, indicating what covenant or condition they're breaking, and giving them time to put right what's wrong. This may be something as straightforward as non-payment of rent or failure to pay rates or something like that, but basically it's a breach of a covenant or condition in the lease. The third way that you might see a tenancy or letting agreement being terminated would be through the effluxion of time. In other words, if the agreement was for say 4 years and 9 months, well then clearly after 4 years and 9 months, unless the lease is renewed, it is up, the lease is finished. So what you need to do then, once you've terminated the agreement, you need to issue legal proceedings. The two types of legal proceedings that you might issue would be an ejectment civil bill for overholding. That's where the lease is up and basically you cannot get the person out, but have no legal entitlement to be there, or at least have no valid and existing lease. The other is an ejectment civil bill on title based on forfeiture. In other words, that covers a situation where they have breached a covenant or condition in the lease, and for that reason you are forfeiting the lease and wish to get them out. So you issue legal proceedings, then the tenant enters an appearance and defence, and the case is set down for hearing. Or if they don't enter an appearance or defence, you bring a motion for a notice of motion for judgment in default of appearance or defence. Once you have got your order, then once you've got a judgment in default, or you've won the case, as it were, won the hearing, you get an order for possession. Once you get an order for possession, then you must serve a copy of that order on the tenant and you demand immediate possession. You cannot use force. Peaceable re-entry is permitted, but peaceable re-entry is difficult to achieve, particularly if there's any resistance or friction put up by the tenant. You're as well to not get involved in any funny business or any violence or non-peaceable re-entry. If the tenant doesn't leave, then you can lodge an execution order in the circuit court or in the an execution order from the circuit court, or a similar order called a FIFA from the High Court, and you give this to the sheriff or the county registrar in your county or where the premises is situate, and they will eject the tenant. There's my contact details. I'm Gorry, I'm a solicitor. I hope you found this useful.